Welcome to the Resistance 3 Beginner's Gun Guide. This is Ownedbytamater, and in this video I will be going over some of the basics of the lower level guns, and I'll be pointing out a few of their strengths and weaknesses. Upon first receiving Resistance 3, I was extremely excited to play the multiplayer mode. But I soon found out that as soon as I put in the game disc, it was going to take 60 minutes to download and update. And remember guys, this is about a week or two after the game has been released that I'm having to do a 60-minute update. And then once I launched the game after that 60-minute update, it took another 10 to 15 minutes to install something. It didn't exactly tell me what. I figured it's just installing the base game, but it took 10 to 15 minutes nonetheless. So after that, I thought, alright, I'm good to go. Wrong. If you rent Resistance 3 or if you buy it used, you're going to have to pay $10 to access the multiplayer matchup feature. It's something Sony's trying called Online Pass, and it's just another way that they can make money and make sure that people actually buy their games. So after I purchased the key, I headed online only to get destroyed because I didn't know the ins and the outs of the game. I didn't know which guns were good, what I should do with them, how I should use them, any of that stuff. So if you're first starting multiplayer mode, I understand how intimidating it can be and how difficult it is whenever you're starting a new game and you're going up against people that have been playing it for at least a couple of days and know the basics, know the maps, know what to do. It's very rough, very hard to get into it and get a good game. My main problem was I was approaching this game like I would Call of Duty, and that's just not how this game is played. You have to approach it in a completely different way. One of the main reasons for that is on Resistance, whenever you sprint, your red dot appears on the minimap. So anytime you're sprinting, the enemies know where you're at. And it took me forever to realize this, and it just kind of clicked that I remembered it from Resistance 2, and that it would just make sense that they carried it over. Also, in Resistance 3, you have a pretty decent amount of health, so I found that rushing out like you would on Call of Duty just won't cut it. You have to take a strategic approach and sprint only when it's absolutely necessary. You also regain health really, really slowly, so after a gunfight, don't be afraid to sit in a corner and watch your doors for about 10 to 20 seconds while you regain your full amount of health. Now I'll cover the strengths and weaknesses of the basic guns of the game. The first up is the Bullseye. This is a tricky gun to use. I personally find that the aim down sight is rather hard to use from a range very accurately. Not because it bounces very much, because it's a very steady gun, but more so because the dot in the middle of your sight, it tends to blend in with bullets and with the opponent's body, so it's hard to track where your bullets are going, and I usually end up in somewhat of a spray before I finally pick off the enemy. The bullets on this gun are pretty strong, so it doesn't take that many to kill somebody. This is a very good overall gun to use. The R2 special in this gun can be deadly. If you can aim it at a guy that's either running straight at you or straight away from you or standing generally still for at least a second, and you hit them with your R2 special, it locks onto them, and then your bullets will chase them around corners. If they're around too many corners, it's just going to hit the wall. But if they're just around one corner, it will curve around the corner and destroy. Next gun up is the Deadeye, or the sniper. This gun shines at a far range, just like any other sniper in any other shooter game. If you take the time to aim it, and you don't rush your shots, you can easily pick up a guy with 2 shots to the body or 1 shot to the head. If you have the perk where you can start with 2 main guns and you couple it with the sniper and any other gun, it's a great combination, especially if it's a map that has both long range game and close range game. The R2 special in this gun charges up a powerful beam and unleashes it on the enemy for a massive damage. Next up is the M5A2 Carbine. This gun is fairly accurate. It's good for mid-range fights. The damage isn't all that great, so you'll find that unless you're hitting them in the head, you're going to have to put quite a few bullets into somebody. Also, if you meet somebody close up and they have a Rossmore, the shotgun of the game, you're going to have a very slim chance of survival unless they are not very good at aiming. For long range, this gun can get kind of tricky. The scope bounces quite a bit, so it's rather hard to pick someone off from far away, especially with the gun damage. The R2 special for this gun fires a grenade at the enemy, which whenever it's in range, it can do some damage, but I generally found that unless they've already been damaged, it's not going to take them out, so it's definitely not as strong as a grenade launcher or a noob tube. on Call of Duty. So you have to be very, very cautious whenever you use this, and I would suggest only using it whenever you've already damaged the opponent and they're running away. The next gun on the list is the Marksman. This is an ordinary 3-round burst type of gun and can be deadly mid to mid-long range if you're accurate with it. It has pretty good damage, but the sights on this gun are a little difficult to use. Sometimes you'll find that after you fire, it bounces in a way that you weren't expecting and you end up in a little bit of a spray, so I don't generally like this gun. I can see where it can be very powerful and very deadly. It's just not that great for me. The R2 special for this gun fires out a mini turret that shoots any enemies in range. I wasn't actually able to pick up any kills with this, so I don't think the range is very good. Either that or whenever you shoot it, a symbol appears on the minimap and enemies know to stay away from that area. The last gun I'm going to cover today is the Rossmore. Like any shotgun, this gun is very powerful close range. If you're close enough to an enemy, it can kill in 2 clean body shots. This gun does have some range, but the damage is greatly reduced whenever you're very far away. So if you find yourself firing shots into an opponent from very far away, you'll find that you're shooting them 5, 6, maybe even 7 times before they end up dying. The R2 special for this gun fires a concussion grenade that slows your enemy down a little bit. It's not that deadly, but it can help you grab a kill every once in a while. I hope this has helped you guys out. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching.